Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Hardcore Metal Detecting Radio Show. I'm Derek Askler. Mr. Craig Talley's on the line. We'll be hosting the show tonight. Just kind of open lines. More often than not, we like to do that just because topics will come in, or we'll start talking about stuff, and it kind of leads on to other stuff. So, heck, it keeps us entertained, and it makes it kind of fun, I think, because you never know which path the show's going to take. If you want to get on chat, you can jump over there on Spreaker.com, go to Hardcore Metal Detecting, log in, and you can get right onto the chat line there. I just opened it up. So, and a lot of information on there, too. A lot of these guys will talk back and forth, a lot of experience on there. So, our call-in number, if you'd like to call in, is 352-504-4170. And we'll get you on the air there with a topic you want to talk about, or maybe you have a story of your last hunt, or whatever. It don't matter. Just questions. You can give us a call in. But Craig, I haven't been out at all. We've been down here dealing with all the weather still. It's just like we have a nice sunny part of the day, and then by golly, Craig, every time I grab that metal detector, Mother Nature has a radar. I put it in the truck, and I go in to get my other stuff, and I come back out, and it's raining. I'll take everything back out of the truck and put it back in my room, and then it stops raining. So it's been kind of nutty the last, 3 or 4 days, and I guess this whole week's supposed to be messed up. But, well, they say that, but I think these meteorologists just spin the wheel there, and whatever that wheel says, that's what they tell us. So I've had days where they said it was 80% chance of rain and not get a drop, and other times it's 20% of chance of rain, and it rains all day. So I don't know. I heard you're dealing with kind of the same thing up there, I guess.
Yeah, we'd had about a week of dry, but before that we had like a month and a half of monsoon.
Yeah.
But anyway, today it started raining today, but then I looked at the weather and it's supposed to rain the next 5 days.
Yeah, same here.
But
I threw my hands up in the air this morning. I had other stuff to do yesterday and everything, but, I was gone. I think I had 4 hours of sleep in 2 days. It's just been a nutty day. And guys, I was sorry about cutting off on the last show like I did. I had to go over and get my wife there. She's diabetic and was having a little bit of a situation, but everything's okay. I had to get her, bring her some insulin there and everything. So I had to kind of skedaddle kind of quick. Didn't mean to do that, but Craig, you understand, I know. But it gets kind of, when it comes to family and medical stuff, I'm on the ball. So, she gave me a call, and I just went right on up there. But I'm sorry about that. Just have to cut off short sometimes. So I see that Bob D and Ohio Relic Hunter are already on there. Bill Marsh, welcome, guys. And Craig, I don't even know when I'm going to get back out because tomorrow I have to run into Tampa. Obviously, I'm not going to get to that Toll Bridge property. I wanted to do it today, but it wasn't cooperating with the weather either. I couldn't, it was just like, I think that it's just like the worst time of year, I think, down here in Florida to try to detect anywhere. It just, this hot, rainy, kind of muggy season runs from like mid-June to like late September. It's kind of like the worst time for me down here. And I know a lot of you guys in the country are getting just heat wave kind of conditions all over the place, it seems like. Talking to a friend up in Michigan, and I think he said it was 95 degrees yesterday or something like that, and they haven't had any rain in his area. I think he has a pond or something. He said it's like down 1.5 feet, 2 foot, as far as water in it and stuff like that. And he says he's just thinking about coming back down to Florida in the summertime because it's cooler down here, I think. I think we were only 85 today, but the humidity's through the roof, so it was kind of comfortable. Then it rained and then it stopped and then it becomes a sauna and stuff like that. With the heat and the rain mixing up there. I like when it rains at night because at least in the morning time it's nice, reasonably cool. I can deal with 80s, 80, 85, no problem. But that humidity's so high, about knocks me out. I'll get out there and do it anyway, but. One of these days, they're going to find me in the middle of a field somewhere, just like out. But yeah, Craig, you got out a little bit. I think you got in your yard anyway. Stuck your head out there a little bit.
Yesterday I went out there and ground was actually dry, but I noticed when I was doing some yard work the other day that I got a fence, chain link fence right along the sidewalk. and that's probably the area where I found the most coins.
Yeah.
Obviously, over the years, people were dropping coins on that sidewalk, and they were rolling into the yard.
Yeah.
There's a big slant down from the street down to the sidewalk, so you can see the erosion along that bank, and then it goes onto the sidewalk, and then my yard kind of slants a little bit, and then it, slants all the way down to the back, probably slants from there to about 6 feet down further in the back of the yard.
Yeah.
But anyway, I noticed that part of the fence was about 3 inches bulging into the yard, and the rest of the fence was flush. So I got back inside the yard, pushed that fence, all the way up. And so I brought the dais out. I hadn't used it in a while, and decided, give it a try. And so my friend had it in the relic mode, so the only thing I did was switch it into full tones and turn on and go. And so I hunted along that fence, and first signal I got pretty good signal, and I dug a modern memorial penny about 5 or 6 inches down.
You're stinking Lincoln.
I thought it was going to be a wheat penny, or it was reading like 91 on the meter, so I was thinking, man, it might be silver.
Yeah,
But,
yeah.
But anyway, I think I got another signal, and it was a pull tab, and that was fairly deep. And what else? Oh, and then I got this really weird signal, and it kept jumping all over the place. And it just sounded weird. It sounded long, and it didn't sound.
Yeah.
I don't know. It just didn't sound weird, but it was a kind of a high mid-tone. So I said, well, I got to see what this is, because it's just, a weird signal. And I dug down about 6 inches, and I pulled the dirt out, and all of a sudden I saw a coin, and it was a 1905 Indian head.
Yeah. Cool.
And,
better than nothing.
Anyway, yeah.
Better than I done.
That's the third Indian head I've gotten out of the yard. That's the second, 1905. And the other one was 1899 or 98, 1898. But anyway, when I was getting ready to put the dirt back in the hole after I checked it with the pinpointer and stuff, and all of a sudden I looked down, and when I was getting ready to put the dirt back in the hole, and I saw this little white thing, real shiny, kind of a round, but it was pretty small. And I thought, man, that looks man-made. And I picked it up, and it had a pin on the bottom of it, so it was like a stick pin.
Like a tie-tack, kind of looking thing, huh?
Yeah. Or I've seen, where women have them in those old hats. They put them in the hat.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I know what you're talking about. A long pin.
It could be a tie-tack. It could be anything like that, but definitely, some kind of ornamental jewelry, type thing. But I thought that was pretty cool. I just eyeballed it, and it was even hard to pick up with a pinpointer because it was so thin with the.
Oh, there's only a little bit of metal
rusted,
there.
But
yeah.
But that was right along where that fence had been bulged out a little bit, so it gave me a little extra room to get closer. Plus, I've been using the Bliss tool with 11-inch coil, and the Deus with a 9-inch coil. You get a little closer, So I probably got 5 inches closer than I was able to get before in that particular area. So it made a difference, But,
yeah, oftentimes I dealing with the Bliss tool, I mean, it kind of took me out of that realm as far as looking at, like the numbers or having the multiple tones. So we were able to decipher with that machine. I think it's easy for us now because we've had the machine for 5 years or 4 years, whatever, and to tell the when you have multiple targets, or when something's like elongated and stuff like that, you can tell a little bit easier, I think. But with a lot of the screen machines, you just got to dig stuff, man. It's like you said, you're getting a long, elongated signal, and it was weird, and it was mid-range, and those are actually becoming dig me signals as far as I'm concerned, because it's so odd. You got to see what it is, and it could be something as simple as you had a penny next to a nail, or right on a nail, or just like a mixture of ferrous and non-ferrous, or mineralization.
Plus, I was kind of close to the fence.
Yeah,
yeah. So it might have been interfering with the fence a little bit too. The signal. I don't know.
Yeah, it's one of those things you just got to dig it, because you just you don't want to walk on something like that, because, well, number one, you might be just masked up, but still you pass that. You would have passed up an Indian head anyway, but not 1905, but still it's still an Indian head, so take what you can get. But yeah, you just these guys, some of the newer people out there, you get in these parks and stuff like that where you have just a high content of just different kinds of metals, aluminum, copper, all that stuff. Just be aware of that. If it sounds really weird and you haven't really heard that kind of a signal, just dig it. If anything else, to get it out of the way. But oftentimes there's something, multiple targets in the hole. I heard, well, somebody on the last show, I don't know if I didn't watch that video. They were talking about that it turned out to be a not coin spill, like a hoard of silver. And I meant to watch that video. I can't remember who told us about that. But at any rate, the guy went over it.
I saw one where the guy, I guess he dug up a seated dime, and then he got the clasp from a coin purse, and he got another signal, and he ended up getting, I think, three seated dimes and 2 or 3 shield nickels out of one hole.
Yeah.
That was in part of this.
What kind of signal was it given? Did he give you any kind of signal, or I mean, not you, but I mean, did you see how the detector was reacting to it?
No, I just saw it, a post on it, and but I don't know if he did it, if the guy was doing it a live video.
Oh, okay. I misunderstood you. I thought it was a video. Haven't had much sleep, guys, so bear with me. I've walked out of the house 20 times today going to do something and forgot what I was going to, what I needed to do, and did something else and came back in and said, well, God darn it, I was supposed to do this. Go back out and do something else and forgot to do it again. So that's the kind of day I've had. It's probably good that I can go metal detecting today. I wouldn't know what to dig. I'd been digging iron signals all day. I forgot what a good one sounds like. You get mixed up targets like that. I've had, like, this Quest 40 did it to me. But it always seems to be on the high side, Craig. I don't know if that makes a difference, and maybe it's because of the frequency I was running. I was running 13 kilohertz on that Quest Pro, and it on some. Well, I guess it depends on the size too, because like that brass piece is about the size of a silver dollar, and it was relatively deep. I think it was about 10 inches down or something, but it was giving me like a silver signal, like like a 90. Or high 80s, low 90s, just bouncing a little bit, like 5 or 6 numbers. But it's kind of consistent on like 80, 88, 89 on it. So I thought maybe I had a chunk, silver coin, or like a silver dime or something like that. It was just kind of, it didn't sound right. It sounded clean, but it was, it was jumping around a little bit, like you said, what the Deus was doing. And, I dig those signals anyways, but yeah, it turned out to be a piece of brass, but there was nothing else in the hole with it. I don't know if depth does affect the way the numbers come up sometimes, and the way the sounds are. On some of these machines, we get whisper tones with the Bliss, and, even it kept me in enough range with that Quest Pro where I was going to dig it anyways. I mean, you're going to dig a higher tone anyway, but I've had other detectors that just don't know what to do. When an item is like just right at the verge of being too deep for the detector to detect it, it'll jump into the negative range or iron range. It's pretty much telling you, hey, I know something's there, but you can't, I can't tell what it is, kind of signal. And you take a scoop out of the ground or whatever, like a little chunk of, a little plug out of the ground and then rescan it. Sometimes that helps out a lot, breaks up the halo if there is something messing, like masking it over or something like that. It's, as you get, using these detectors, and the more experience you have with your detector, the better you're going to be with it, obviously. But that's why it's important to, you get some people that go out like once a month, but versus a guy that maybe doesn't have as much experience, but he's out there 4 or 5 times a week. You're just going to know your metal detector better. You're going to understand it better and feel more comfortable with it, not have to guess so much. You're pretty much dead on with it. We miss targets, yeah, but I mean, for the most part, the more time you spent out in the field, the better. Just to understand the equipment that you have. So, with me, I felt a little bit out of my realm because I'm taking essentially a detector that I don't even have. I probably have about 20 hours with it, I guess, Craig, and you just don't have that comfort. Like you can't relax. You know what I mean? You're really paying attention to what the detector's doing and the sounds. You can't. It's not as easy, obviously, as a detector that you've used for a couple of years. So I was in that realm too. So I was digging a lot of signals that probably a lot of you may have not dug with years at all, simply because I didn't know the detector very well. But I'm getting pretty doggone good with that thing. It's actually surprising me. He's picking up multiple, like when I run shoot, I can't even talk tonight. Scan, detecting, going back and forth, whatever, swinging the coil. And I'm picking up like 3 or 4 signals on the swing. So I know that, the recovery delay is good, and, I can go over each one of them, and it's all within a 2-foot area. I'm getting like 3 signals. And, that happened a lot over there, but it turned out to be like a pull tab or a little piece of brass, a little piece of, whatever. It wasn't anything good, but it was nice that the detector, the recovery delay obviously is really fast on it. And all these items, I think I dug a nickel, and there was a pull tab, and I'm trying to remember the numbers right now that I was getting. But anyways, the nickel signal or whatever, the one that was a nickel sounded really cleaner. When I went over the square tab, aluminum pull tab or square tab, whatever, it was jumping a little bit more. And I'm going to do some testing with that. I was kind of curious because they were about at the same depth. It was like 5-6 inches down. And you would have dug them anyways, Craig, because they were so close and everything. But just one sounded better than the other, like the nuance in it or something like that. So, I didn't want to get fooled, so I just dug everything, anything that was not iron. I dug a couple iron chunks too, but it just trying to get your mind wrapped around what the machine's trying to tell you. That's what I've always tried to do, just spend, learn it now, and that way I don't have to think about it so much later. It's kind of to go out and detect and have fun. But, and like with the Deus and you haven't used the Deus as much lately in the past, I don't know, year, but you took it into a whole different mode and everything else. I'm sure you moved some stuff around, full tones, and because you know what that detector, what you need to hear from it, or the information wise, so you can dig those kind of targets. I'll stop running into mouth, man. I get a motor mouth tonight.
Well, I've had the Deus up there a few times. When I first got here, and I did get a silver quarter at the Blitz Full Mist, but it had a big piece of steel wire on it. But I got a crappy signal, and it didn't read right on the meter, but it had a high 10. That was the only reason I dug it.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it. I dug several Buffalo nickels there, and I think 2 war nickels in that same area. Plus probably a dozen wheat pennies, and so I'd gone over that place, a lot. I'd even gone over it before with the Deus and had heard that signal previously. So I could have, I pulled so much nails, like there was a lot of roofing nails, and like for the porch, kind of like the same nails that they use on the porch. They were just all over the place.
Yeah.
And then all kinds of square nails mixed in with it too. From that whole area's got just nothing but square nails all over the place. It's crazy.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, I'm suffering
So,
right now from the. We were talking about all the different, poison ivies and the hogweed and everything last Thursday, and I think I told you, I wasn't sure. I can't remember if I told you or not. I was out there, doing lawn, doing the lawn and stuff, and I went out and weed whip with the weed. I have this big steel weed whip um, with these the real heavy line on it. And usually I wear jeans all the time, boots, whatever I'm out there doing. With that day, decided to go out there in shorts and t-shirt because it was so doggone hot. And I was just going to mow originally, so I'm out there just weed whipping. Of course, this thing is a beast, anyways, uh, and it just cover you in grass and stuff. I must have got into poison oak or something. It's not sumac. And my dog's got it too. Loki's got it all over him too. I didn't think a dog can get down to his skin. And as far as poison ivy, he must be rolling in it or something because he's been itching his butt off for like 3 days too. Uh, I thought it was chiggers, Craig. Seriously, that's what it seemed like. Is it's like little dots, little, real.
hmm
But when I weed whipped that thing, it must have blasted all the little pieces of grass and everything else on my legs. And well, I got it, got done. I went in and got a shower and everything. I should have used Dawn dishwashing liquid. That was one thing that you guys get into poison ivy. I don't know if it works, but it pulls grease and oil. And of course, like poison ivy, poison oak, stuff like that has, it's like an oil in the leaves and stuff like that's what really gets you, even in the roots. And I probably should have used that. I'm paying for it now. I mean, it's all over my left leg from like the knee down. This stuff is miserable, whatever it is. I don't think I usually don't get poison ivy at all. I can roll in the stuff and not get it. It has to be poison oak or, I guess there's a possibility it could be sumac, but it just doesn't seem like it's like little dots and lines and stuff like that. It's weird. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll die by tomorrow. I don't know. I feel like I'm going to itching my butt off. I told Pauline, I said, I only got about 4 hours sleep, and I think 2 hours of it was trying not to scratch. You know what I mean? Putting all this cream on and stuff. God. I'm an idiot. I went out there doing that. But, the kind of weed whip I have anyways, if that thing hits a rock or a stick or something like that, and it flings it back at you, it actually almost cut me through my jeans. It flings this stuff so, it's got a big engine on it. But my neighbor wouldn't even use it. He wanted to borrow it, so I brought it over because I'm not using that thing. That thing looks like it would rip your arm off or rip your leg off if you don't use it right. Oh, shoot. But I learned my lesson on that. I won't be doing that. I'll just have to sweat a little bit more. No more shorts. My white legs probably were laughable anyways. Well, shoot. But yeah, getting out in this woods and stuff. I know a lot of people have it worse than we do down here as far as the weeds and the green up and all like you, Craig, with doggone hogweed in your yard, or if it is. Tell Mike to go out there, rub some of that on, rub it on your arm once, Craig. Don't, disclaimer, don't do it. Oh, shoot. See what it is.
Pretty positive it's not, but because the shape of the plant just doesn't look right now. But we're going to wait and see. What happens is it gets white flowers. This
right.
big halo of them at the top. It looks pretty cool, and it was an ornamental flower. Brought in as an ornamental plant. So, but we'll see what it is. I got quite a bit of poison ivy in parts of my yard, and I thought I got rid of it all, and all of a sudden I see new plants coming up near where the old ones were.
Right.
So I don't know if poison ivy has seeds or.
I don't know. I mean, it's a vining plant. It just kind of grows and grows and grows. It just kind of latches on, keeps on going. Unless you can cut it off at the ground level, stop. Because this stuff, the poison ivy will grow up right beside of my garage or whatever, and I have to go out there. Within a week, it's up the side. So.
Yeah, sometimes.
Well, really, it's not a seed. You cut it, and it's just like cutting a branch off and doing it.
They got poison oak too,
mm-hmm.
which seems. I think that some of what I got is poison oak because it's going up the tree and it's giant leaves. I mean, they're huge.
Yeah, stay away from that
but,
crap.
But I sprayed that with Roundup, and about 3 days later, it was, the leaves were just turning to dust. But I've gotten most of it. I just noticed that all of a sudden I'm getting good at spotting poison ivy.
Yeah, yeah. Gavin was saying don't weed whip that stuff.
Yeah.
Because it breaks it up, and no matter how much you're covered, yeah, you're right. I mean, usually I get done, and I usually go right in, and that's the last thing I do is weed whip around, and it's just an idiot attack. I just didn't even think twice about it because when I first got this thing, I have scars on me from this thing. This thing will rip you up. I was out there in shorts one time about 2 years ago with it, and I went through this. I got a little bit of gravel right by the my gate right there. I hit that thing, man. I tell you, it laid me open. I mean, Pauline's like, God, what'd you do? Cut yourself with a knife or something? I said, no, it's just off the stupid weed whip. And since then, I hadn't worn shorts with that thing until the other day. And I think it was Tuesday or Monday or Tuesday, Wednesday, something like that I did it. I'm paying for it now, man. This stuff is horrible. I got cortisone cream all over my leg and everything else. I look like one of those people that goes on the beach and puts that white, whatever, sunscreen on. I coated it. I don't want to itch anymore. I hate it. But yeah, sometimes you gotta learn the hard way. That's usually the way I do. I see JD Witchcraft is on tonight. Hello, JD. Got Barbara on tonight, Gavin. I saw Sevens on here. And, of course, I said Bill Marsh and I think Bob D's on. Yeah, Bob's on there and everything. So, yeah, a bunch of guys on chat tonight. Welcome. So, yeah, we're and JD, where you been, brother? I haven't heard from you. You need to put it on chat. I haven't seen you up here on the chat for a while. You must have been busy. But has anybody heard from Brandon? I haven't seen Brandon on a couple weeks or something like that. He must be getting busy too. It's like the worst time of year, I think. But for us,
I haven't seen him on in a couple months.
Yeah, I'm gonna hound him
every once in a while. He kind of pulls back on Facebook and stuff, I think.
Yeah, Brandon, you better start answering us, or I'll put Bill Marsh on you. He'll track you down. He's always busy. He's busy with work too. I've been so busy with everything. I'm running 90 mile an hour down a dead end road half the time. It seems like. And I was working. Oh, that's one thing I wanted to talk about too. When you guys ship your metal detectors and stuff, no matter what kind you have, make sure the control boxes are protected. Because this is the third one I've gotten. Well, it's a Bristol V6, I think. V6. Guys, it's somebody. Brent sent it. He moves around a lot for his job and everything, so he just shipped the detector. And I guess it doesn't really matter who you're shipping with because they've all done it at some time or another. But they hit it hard enough, Craig, to move the frequency knob and the volume knob about almost a half an inch. And when it did it, it turned the machine on somehow, or something happened because the battery was totally dead. It wouldn't even put a red light on or nothing. So I had to put another battery. Now I got to take apart the entire front end of this machine to straighten it all out. I don't know what they did. And he had it wrapped good too. He had bubble wrap and everything, but the box was torn right there. It was like they run it over with a forklift or something. I don't know. It's crazy stuff. But make sure you're wrapping that stuff up good, the best you can, and try to keep any kind of a control box or a screen or whatever. Try to keep that as much as you can in the center of that box. Don't put it right up against the edge where like your screen, like if you have Equinox or I don't know, Quest Pro, whatever that or whites too. They stick up higher. And sometimes you have to put them in the box a certain way to keep them away from the edges, because if they slam those boxes around pretty good, you don't want to end up with a cracked screen or whatever else. I mean, it's a big headache to get, you get insurance on these things, but it's a big headache. I've had to do that twice already, and you have to jump through some hoops to get your insurance money back from shipping it. You know what I mean, Craig? So, just be careful how you guys are doing this, because I don't know if they're just getting rougher with stuff or what's going on. I can fix it up. It's not a big deal, but just about a 3-hour job though. So all those knobs and everything have to come off the whole front of the machine. I'd take that plate out and just hammer it, or not hammer it, but tab it back into place or whatever, and put everything back together on it. but it works fine. I already tried it out, but somehow it turned the machine on somehow, or it got left on. Who knows? But Brent's usually pretty good about that. Only Craig leaves it on. Got to pick on
2
you a
months in
little
a row.
bit. Yeah, 2 months. I sent him back the machine. And he does it again. It's comical. Hey, we all have those days, buddy. So,
Yep.
I went over there. I was digging out a target. I busted a shovel handle, and I usually don't do that. I don't know what I was thinking either. When something doesn't give, it doesn't mean push harder. You know what I mean? I push and crack. I'm like, what an idiot. I don't know why I did that. It was underneath an oak tree root. It was about a 3-inch root. Like, I'm really going to move that. I don't know. You just get blonde moments or whatever you want to call it. So, but yeah, so it's been kind of a nutty couple weeks for me anyways, or months. It's been, I don't know, does it seem like that to you, Craig, that this year, like from January until now, has just flown by, but it's been so doggone busy? You had to move and everything else, and you're trying to get your yard cleaned up and stuff, I know, but it just seems like it's flown by. I can't believe it's July already. I just hope that the next 2 months go by faster so we all can get out there and not roast to death outside trying to detect.
Yeah, it's either been raining too much or it's been, pretty hot. But I've been hearing this from a lot of people around the country.
Mm-hmm.
One guy was sitting in. They were getting like 109, 111 over in California, I think it was.
Yeah.
It's crazy. We complain about high 90s, and they get up in the hundreds.
Yeah, I think it's a humidity thing. I've been in both situations. I've been in Phoenix and stuff when, it's southern Arizona and southern California when it really gets roasting, but I mean, it's like feels like 117, 118 degrees. I don't know I can't remember how hot it gets there, but it's pretty doggone hot. The times I was there, they actually have misting machines at some of the restaurants and stuff, outdoor restaurants, there in Phoenix. And that was kind of nice because they just put a little mist out there. And you wouldn't think that would really do anything, but it does cool you down a little bit because there's no moisture in the air. Down here you'll sweat. Over there you just roast. I don't think you don't sweat as much or something. That's why maybe it seems hotter here. I don't know. Shoot, it's 6 of one, half dozen of the other. Pick your poison. It's just miserable for a lot of people right now. I don't know how those guys gold prospect out in that stuff. I mean, really, you're out in the middle of a desert, or what I mean? They out there. I can't remember the guy's name. He uses a GPX 5000, goes out there, and I think it's New Mexico, Arizona, and detects. I mean, you just gotta roast your butt off out there. I don't know how long he stays out though. I guess you get used to it, just like anywhere else. If you're out there all the time in it. But I don't want to be in it.
Yeah, you kind of get used to it up to a point, but
yeah,
you still got to watch it. I mean, I got used to it because I lived up, in Alexandria, where it was just humid all the time, and it's just we're pretty close to a river, major rivers.
Yeah. I just.
Well, Washington D.C. was actually built on a swamp right across the river from us.
Yeah. I love the way they do that. Just build wherever, doesn't matter. Move the wetlands.
Yeah. Just fill them in.
Yeah.
Nowadays they probably put you in jail for doing that.
Oh, they do. Yeah, they'll
it's just a swamp.
They'll give you a big fines every day that you don't fix it back the way it should be. So they do down here anyway. Like a company called Swift Mud. I don't even know. I think they're still around. Obviously, it may be a different name now. You start, there was a couple of guys that was cleaning up around their ponds and stuff like that. They have ponds on their property, and they wanted to make them look better and everything. And you can't destroy the natural habitat. You got to put it back the way it was, and you're going to get fined this much money, thousands of dollars every day for as long as you don't fix it. That's what they used to. I don't know if they're still doing that or not, but it used to be pretty. All it is a farm pond. I mean, you're just trying to make your property look a little bit better, get all the brush and weeds and stuff out from around it. And I had one fellow that was trying to make an area, a pond a little bit bigger. You're not allowed to do that either. There's more laws than you know what to do with. I know you're used to that, Craig, being up in Alexandria. They got a law for everything.
Yeah, well, EPA kind of got ridiculous. They had, they even took over the waterways, even the water in a ditch.
Mm-hmm.
And I guess you've heard of a rain tax.
Yeah.
You can't get the rain and store it. It's not yours. It's a state or whatever.
Oh, it's a state? I thought it was Mother Nature. Mother Nature's charging us a rain tax.
Fall into my yard, it's mine.
Yeah. Hey, possession's 9/10 of the law.
But anyway, from what I hear, they've gotten rid of all these regulations at EPA since the new administration went in. So,
what we used to do. Good.
They've cut one of the things they wanted to do was cut for every new regulation you had to cut 2 or 3, I think it was.
It sounds like a good idea.
I think what has happened is they've cut for every one, it's up to 22 they've cut, and some of these duties even went across different bureaucracies. We're doing the same thing, and it was redundant. You had 3 different agencies working on this stuff. So then when you try to get a permit, it had to go all through all 3.
Yeah, I'm going through that now with putting another double wide on this place. Figuring out, man, damn impact fees and this and that and the other thing. So heck, I mean, I'm good enough. I hook it up in my truck and drag it in here. You know what I mean? But you get caught doing that, then you get in trouble that way. They've done that to a few people, putting a porch, a roof over their porch area. Just pretty much putting a little tin, just so they can sit out there, out of the sun. And they say, it's connected to your home, no matter what kind of mobile home or a regular house. It's connected, and you never got a permit for it. So in other words, if you leave a little gap right there, you're good. But if you connect it to the house to keep the water from coming onto the porch, then you're not good, and then they may come take it down or pay a fine. It's like, come on, man. But they do that because there's some idiot that would put it up with 1x2s or something like that, and it fall on his head and kill him. So they're trying to, they take it to extreme. But I'm glad they're getting rid of some of those laws up there. Make one and get rid of 10. That'd be nice.
Yeah, well, a lot of it, was hurting the farmers. They had all kinds of, the farmers, they're the ones that know the weather because they got to deal with the whims of it. Mm-hmm. And some years it's great, got a lot of water, and other years you don't have much at all. So, when you got all these regulations in a way, it doesn't make it easy.
Yeah, I just try to, I do stuff like, I have the carport tents, so I call them. They're more or less heavy duty, like you buy it Harbor Freight, and it's probably about 10 times stronger than that, at least. But, I have a couple of them, and I set them up, and they gave me a bunch of crap about it. And I said, it's not a permanent structure, and I use it. I mean, that's where I have my test garden right now, and, I wanted to keep it out of the sun so that I could actually, do some videos or whatever, just do, some general testing in my test garden. And, they gave me it's a permanent structure. I said, it's not, it's touching the ground. It's anchored to the ground. So I'm just using it to keep the sun off me or the rain off me or whatever. And they finally left me go on that. But I don't know. It's just like nitpicking, man. It's just they just get me. I know they're just as bad everywhere else too, and it gets frustrating. Seems like they could be worrying about a heck of a lot more than somebody parking their car under some. Because literally, my dashboard cracked on my truck. Got hot, and I was getting into the truck, and somehow my elbow hit it. It got so hot the plastic piece fits right over the dash, the little trim piece. It broke it, and then the stupid rear view mirror fell off too, right on my hand. I was like, oh really? Just that intense heat. I'm like, yeah, I got to get these vehicles under something. Just and you can't crack the windows because it rains, and you don't want to leave your metal detector in there. I mean, anybody who does that down here, you're asking for problems, because that's, I don't even know how hot it gets on some of these cars and trucks and stuff like that. Man, you leave any kind of electronics, man, I'd be real worried about doing that. It's hot enough where you can't pick it up. I've seen paint cans, like the spray paint. There's a lady at the post, and she parked in there for like 2 hours, and she had just gone to Walmart and bought some spray paint for her husband, and the doggone can burst in the back of her car. And, luckily it was in the trunk, but it still made one heck of a mess. But it was from the heat, and just, she says, I should have gone home, but I never thought a car would get that hot. Of course, it was a dark blue car, too, so it, kind of built that heat up in there. But, yeah, I mean, you leave your cell phone, or I know some people, Craig, you said that, people leave laptops in the car and tablets and everything else, and I don't know if it would really mess them up or not. It probably would, wouldn't it? I've never tried it. I don't want to try it.
You got a battery in them and stuff.
Yeah. I was thinking about
good for them, but
all the plastic and stuff and all these little circuits. A lot of them, have plastic on them and this glue stuff or whatever. I don't even know what this stuff's called, guys. But when you affix something like a speaker to the back of the bliss tool, it's kind of like glued on, but it's this. It's like an epoxy though on ours. But I've seen it where it's kind of like almost a little bit. It gives a little bit when you push on it. On some of these other detectors that I've had, and if that stuff gets hot, it almost liquefy it, wouldn't it? Or try to, anyways. Stuff might fall off of the inside of the machine. You never know.
Well, I mean, I've seen people, fry machines in the trunk of their cars.
Yeah, and I've seen
tap, and
I've seen guys leave, detectors in a car in the wintertime and then bring them in the house, and it has that moisture or whatever, the condensation from being real cold and being, warmed up again. That can't be good on the inside of a detector. If it's able to get any kind of moisture in there at all through that heating and cooling process, could be, or even the screen. Your screen might fog over. I've heard of that happening too, going from cold to warm. Being out. Really cold, not. Well, like I should say, like Madison, Maine cold when he was out there metal detecting in 6 foot of snow or 6 inches of snow. I won't say 6 foot; it's 6 inches of snow. But I mean, just leaving it there, like for a day or two, that can't be good. I don't know. Protect your stuff. Don't let it get tore up. I don't leave anything in my car. I'm always worried about somebody busting the window out to get into something. I have a guy around here, he leaves his truck unlocked all the time, and if it's summertime and not going to rain, he leaves the windows open. He goes, heck, I'd rather him just take whatever they want, rather than have to replace one of these windows, side windows. Some of these window prices are crazy. I'll let them in, that way they don't break nothing. Got off topic a little bit. I guess it was on topic a little bit anyway, but yeah, just protect your electronics in this heat. Don't leave them out if you don't have to. Obviously, if you're just going to hunt or something like that, stop to get lunch or whatever. I'm not talking about that. And some people leave a detector in the truck all the time, and they may have not had any problem. I guess that's a good question to ask people out there. How long do you have a detector you leave in your vehicle all the time in case you find a place to hunt? Has it ever messed up one of your detectors? I don't know. I didn't ever want to chance it. They cost too much. So, see. But yeah, that paint can blew my mind. I guess, these Bic lighters and stuff, I've never seen one of them explode, but them cheap ones, I've heard people having a lot of problem with those, probably the 99-cent ones you get at the convenience store. Well, they're probably not 99 cents anymore, probably about $2.99, but I've heard of those lately. In the last month or two, I've heard 2 or 3 people tell me they've had them blow up in their car. Left them in the console or whatever, and went inside to do whatever they had to do, come back out, and the thing was blown up. So, didn't catch anything on fire, but still, I don't know if I want that in my pocket.
Maybe they need a heat-resistant law in Florida.
Yeah. I don't know. We pay our sunshine tax, and by golly, we get it. So, oh, shoot. But now, you got any plans this week, Craig? Or are you going to try to get out someplace other than your yard? Because I know you have other places you're wanting to get to, but I didn't know if they were even possible to get into them right now. Well, other than yards, but...
Yeah, I got a yard up the street I could probably do again. I've done it a little bit, but I need to go back and try it again.
Yeah, it's probably almost
I was
impossible to
talking
get
to
in
a
the
lady-
woods.
I talked to a lady the other day for about an hour, when I was walking to the post office. So,
Mhm.
I'll probably get back into that yard, but I met the guy across the street up the block that just started a business, and it's called the Log House. And it's an old cabin, and he has a big garden in the backyard. It's like ornamental flowers, all kinds of stuff, and along the curb, he's got the most beautiful display of flowers. They come up, like there's always something blooming from about April on.
Mhm.
So I talked to him the other day, and he's an expert in bottles. That he collected bottles for years, and I was telling him about all these bottles we found in the yard. So he said he'd like to see him, and he could probably tell us, how much they're worth and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
We'll find out if he has some more
Yeah.
property first, and that way Mike can trade bottles for properties to hunt.
yeah, well,
Use-
he said he had a privy in his yard, but it was from about 1940.
Oh,
was
yeah.
when it was. But he said most of the houses in this area in this along here had privies up until about 1940,
Mm-hmm.
right around when World War II broke out. But a lot of the houses are 1800 to 1850s.
Right.
So and there's a lot, like my house and the next one, next two on one side are from 1880s. Mine's 1880. Next door is 1884, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And then the one on the other side is a cabin inside from 1790, and then they built a house around it in 1927, I believe.
How do you tell on bottles, Craig? I mean, I've got this bottle here, and I didn't find it metal detecting. I saw it, but I wasn't trying to. Obviously, didn't find it with a metal detector, but it's got lines on it, but it's 3 lines on the side, like where it was sealed at. Does that make sense? Like it was 2 pieces put together.
Yeah.
But I got 3. It's like it made like a pie shape almost on the side. I guess a third, thirds on the side of it. But then I look at the top part of it here, and it almost looks like it has other lines on the top part of the bottle, but they're not sealed in the center. But I can see air bubbles or bubbles in the glass. Is that older, or is that? I don't even.
Yeah,
I don't.
It usually is. I
Yeah, I don't
see it for sure, but is it a cork top?
Yeah, it's a cork. The cork's actually in it. It's got a
okay.
piece of cork in it, but I don't know, something looks hinky about it. I don't know. Even on the top of it, on the very, very top, like where the cork goes in, it's got a little bevel about an inch down. You can see the cork through it. It's blue glass, too. It's blue. All of it's blue, but there's no markings on the bottom that I can even possibly tell. Well, I see a T. A T. I'm sitting there looking at it right now, but it's like it might be a letter T on it, but that's the only thing it is. I mean, I see some kind of markings or numbers. Is there a way to tell the age of a bottle just by the numbers on the bottom of it? Or is there a dead giveaway kind of thing? I don't know.
Sometimes usually the ones we've seen always have a company and usually like the city and state on it.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. That's how we looked them up. A couple of Coke bottles. Well, actually, 4 or 5 of the bottles actually had dates on them. The Coke bottles we found had them on the very bottom, right around the very rim at the very bottom.
I can see one air bubble. It's on the inside of the bottle too, or the inner part of the bottle, but it's the size bigger, almost as big as an eraser around. And then there's 2 little ones below it. and several little ones around. Oh, there's another one the size of an eraser on the right near the seam. It's strange. I just have, and I know it's blue. You know, it's obviously blue glass.
What do you think was in the bottle?
I'm thinking it's going to be maybe some kind of a liquor bottle, maybe. I don't. It's really ornamental. It's a beautiful bottle. I wish I had my cell phone out here. I'd take a picture of it and send it over to you. Maybe you can put it online. But it looks fancy. It's got these. Instead of being smooth all the way down, it's beveled out 2 or 3 times, and it has these little. I guess they're about a half inch in wide or whatever. They go all the way around the bottle in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 places, 6 places, and it's on the main bottle. Then on the neck, it's a different size, and then at the very top is a different size also. I guess I may have to take a picture. Wait a minute. Let me hang on. I think I just figured out what was going on. No, that's not it either. I thought it was a covering on it. Like, how they put plastic over top of I don't know, Arizona tea, the old Arizona tea bottles and stuff like that to make it look like they're a different color than they are. No, it's not. I thought it was kind of a covering or a coating. This is strange. I'm going to take a picture and send it to you. I'll put it on Facebook. I'll take it right in the house after I get done with the show and take a picture of it. It looks almost too good to be true. It's just so ornamental. Like it's like a fancy liquor bottle. Maybe it's the size of a wine bottle, height-wise. Maybe it's some kind of weird foreign liqueur or something like that. And it's strange. It's blue glass is what caught my eye. Because blue and red, I think, are the best colors to find, right? Out there.
I don't know. I don't see any red ones, but blue is definitely, one of the. A lot of people keep them even if they're screw tops because they're just cool looking.
Yeah.
But Mike found quite a few. What the heck was it? I can't remember what was in them. Oh, some of them are inkwells. And if you find cobalt blue inkwell from like the Civil War era, those things are worth big money. I know a guy that found 2 out of one hut site, and they're about, I don't know, $4,000 or $5,000 a piece or something.
I wish I had a bottle like that. It'd be nice. Woody Jones, he's saying that he finds soda bottles with the city name on the bottom, where the bottling company used to be. Let's see.
Yeah, that's what we found.
Yeah, I have one from Leesburg, Florida, for Coca-Cola. Bottling company or whatever whenever they were around. A lot of these towns, you were talking about that. Somebody was on a couple shows back, like each one of these towns seems like they had a bottling company within, 20 miles of that town or something. You found a couple from your area too. I think Mike found a Coke bottle with a name on it and everything. This one doesn't have anything. It's just, other than that, it looks like a T on the bottom. It's about, I don't know, 1/4 inch size, and it's real. You can't really tell. It's just barely there. Somebody wrote something on the bottle too.
I found one, last year. But it was J.L. Stein, I think it was, and it was in I think it was in Winchester. And then I noticed Mike had found one, and I thought, man, I found one sort of like that, and it was real heavy green glass, but a weird kind of a green. Mm-hmm. Almost kind of a limeish green instead of a dark green. But anyway, mine said Coke on the end, or cola on the bottom.
Right.
On the on the very bottom. This one didn't, and this one was shorter than the other one, and it still said J.L. Stein on it, but it was from Baltimore. So.
Huh.
Baltimore is, a fairly good ways away, I would say.
Yeah.
But Winchester's just 9 miles away. So,
yeah.
I thought that was interesting. The guy had different bottling companies, You can tell, bottling was huge back then. Everything was in bottles, it seems like. You know, it's not like nowadays where you get microwavable stuff in plastic. You know.
Yeah, no doubt. Yeah, it just has that. It's an F actually. It's not a T. Like, you can barely see it. I mean, it's just. But there's also. Oh, I'll take a picture of it. I mean, I'm not going to talk much more about it. Just. Yeah, sometimes when things look too good to be true, they usually are. So I got something that looks like it's crinkled, like saran wrap gets. You know, when you don't get it straightened on a container, it has that little wrinkle in it. It kind of has that on it. That's why I was scraping out a little bit, not real hard, but not enough to scratch the bottle. It looks like that. Maybe it's on the inside of the bottle. I don't know. I'll have to look at it a little closer. I'll send a picture of it to you, Craig. You can post it up if you want to. I just got the cork out of it, and it's blue. It's blue on the, yeah, definitely blue bottle all the way through. Just strange, man. It always catches me off guard. I always think I have something, and it's never something. You know what I mean? Maybe this time it'll be right. You know, I keep everything. You know, it seems like I just, you know, I have it in my office here and on the shelves and everything. I just happen to look up at it, and you were talking about those bottles. I need to ask Mike. He's a professional bottle hunter on the show, I think. I'm sure he does enough research. That man found, you said 70 bottles or something this year in your yard.
He's getting close to it's getting close to 80 now.
Mm-hmm.
He's found a few just recently. He dug a pit down. It's about maybe, I don't know, about as big around as a small tire, I guess. And he got down about 6 or 8 inches deep, which is deeper than most of the stuff it usually is. And there's all kinds of stuff going straight down. He found a porcelain button and a bone button. And all kinds of, there was like one of those big food containers, you know, ceramic, you know, like a crock pot type, huge, like, you know, I don't know what they put in them, but it's like a food container. It's got kind of like a bluish glaze to it. It's kind of glazed crockery, I guess it's called. But
yeah,
there's all kinds of, you know, different colors of, you know, they had all kinds of different designs on their, you know, there's all kinds of like those blue and white dishes that were all broken up.
Right.
So some of that stuff goes back to 1850s probably, but most of the stuff we're finding, I think the earliest one we identified is like 1879. And that was actually from Chicago. Here we are way over here in Virginia.
Well, I got a better one than that, Craig. Woody just said he has a Sprite bottle that has Yellowstone National Park on the bottom, found in North Carolina. That's a pretty good distance. I didn't know. That's kind of cool in a way. I'd keep. That's kind of like a, you know, national, park and everything. I'd keep that one.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I didn't even know they had a bottling company over there.
It's amazing how nice the bottle. You know, like the Coke bottles are, you know, like almost like, you know, cut glass. You know, they're real heavy, and you know they're I don't know, they're like round, but they're also squared off, sort of, you know, and you know, really a lot of workmanship done into those bottles.
Yeah.
You know, the design and everything. It's not just plain like they are nowadays. But you know, I can't imagine them making bottles like that nowadays. It'd probably be expensive.
Oh yeah, yeah. You get some of these fancy bottles and stuff, especially with like liquor in them and stuff, like tequila. They have ones that, you know, for tequila that look like alien heads and crystal skulls and all that kind of stuff. I don't even know what they pay to have that stuff made. But yeah, Sevens was saying that Jeff went out and didn't find much. I guess it rained him out or something. All he found was a lot of modern bullets. I have, you know, I dig those modern bullets. It's like everywhere, you know, like 38s and 45s. And yeah, God, I think, well, I didn't put the video up because we'd have much to show, but Mike and I, and Mark Hoover, we went hunting over here down the road from me, and I think Mike found like 27 bullets. He had a couple Seminole Indian round balls, but I found a bunch of bullets. Mark found a few bullets. It's like, why don't they police their bullets a little bit better? They can police their brass and police the bullets a little bit. They're just, sporadically all over this area. Um, I just, shot. It's like shotgun shells. The 12 Georges button. I find those
found
old
one in
ones
my
all the
yard
time.
over in Alexandria.
I find them all the time. I mean, I have a coffee can full of them, but you can't pass them up because it could be a penny, it could be anything. But you talk about this old brass. It seems to come through pretty doggone good. I don't mind digging them, but they're also coin size. It fools you. You look down, oh my God, I got a coin. Oh, another 12 Georges.
Well, we always, like when I hear it, on the machine, I think it's a button, and you got to dig those signals. They pretty much read like a, Eagle coat button or nice coat button of some type, but it just, I don't know. You got to dig them.
Oh yeah.
I probably dug 100 times more of those than I have pull tabs.
Oh yeah, I really don't dig. I mean, I dig pull tabs, obviously. I mean, we get them, but it's just those shotgun shells, man, down here. Well, they did a lot of bird hunting down here too. I mean, that was was big, probably still is, but I mean, I think I found 47 on a 1 acre lot, but I was finding like barber dimes. I was finding some Indian heads, everything else, but they weren't real old. It's like 1890s to, I don't know. I never found a mercury dime there, but the barbers. I found 3 barbers on there, but I just dig in everything. Every good signal I was digging. But yeah, a huge amount of shotgun shells. Every gauge, but every down to 20 gauge, 12 gauge, 16 gauge. I even found a 10 gauge round with the brass itself on the shotgun shell was about, I think, 2 inches long. Usually they're pretty small where the primer is and everything. It's a big old 10 gauge round. I don't know what the heck they were shooting at with that thing, but I put them around like my display cases and stuff. I take a hot glue gun and I'll glue them around the edge of it and stuff like that just to make it look kind of neat. I don't throw them away. I just put them in a coffee can, But a lot of there's a lot of different makers too. There's a couple catalogs about that too, about the shotgun shells. The one thing that I know about them is that usually if they say number 12, like 12 with the NO on it, that's usually pre-1935 is what I've found down here anyway. And then if ones that say 12 gauge, like GA, those are pretty much after that point. But I just found one the other day that it just simply it was a Peters Target or something like that, but it says 12 on it. That's it. There's nothing on the other side at all. It's all, it wasn't scraped off or nothing. It just nothing was printed there or said anything right there. So I've never seen one like that. It just says 12 or whatever on it. Usually there's some kind of response as far as gauge or whatever. So you only know what you find.
Yeah.
Jeez. But yeah, probably thinking about kind of wrapping it up for tonight, guys. I'm pretty much babbling on anyways. I need to get sleep, Craig. I need to get sleep, man.
That's fine.
Yeah, man, I just keep on. I got insomnia. I don't sleep much anyways. But yeah, 48 hours, 4 hours sleep. I'm kind of dragging right now anyway. So probably going to wrap it up for the night. Go ahead.
I got a cat alarm.
Cat alarm, huh?
Yeah.
Does he jump up and claw you in the face? No. I don't know.
Yeah, it's like I'll feel something, in the bed, and then I'll open my eyes, and he's like about a foot away staring at my face, and then he gets all excited when my eyes pop open.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I'm probably
And the bad thing is I come down and feed him, and then he goes back to sleep.
Yeah.
All right.
All right, buddy. Yeah, we're going to wrap it up, guys. Yep. Thanks, guys, for being on tonight. Shoot, we got, I'll just kind of go through it. And Gavin and Barbara, Woody, Bob D. Of course, Sevens is on tonight. Bill Marsh. I mean, a bunch of you guys, Jason, and thanks for being on the chat line there. We'll be on Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern time as usual. And, be sure you like and follow the shows. Several good metal detecting shows on Spreaker.com. I think there's 5 or 6 of them, and pretty much every night of the week, I think, is somebody's on. So check them out. We all run different formats and what we talk about and everything. Some people have guests, different guests on every week, stuff like that. So, check them out. These guys, work hard to put on a good show, and I'm sure they appreciate you guys listening and getting on chat and everything. So thanks for listening, guys, and we'll get to you on Thursday night. If you can, get out there and keep digging. God bless.